Well. Resident Evil in development. A new movie. This is an exclusive to Screen Rant, so as much as I give them flack, I'll give them props where props are due. It sounds interesting. They've got an exclusive. Let's take a look. Let's see if it's a reboot or a remake or a readaptation. Who knows? They do, obviously. But yeah, this will be interesting because, of course, Resident Evil, fans of the games tend not to really like the movies that much for obvious reasons. So let's take a look, see if this is anything to be excited about, shall we? A new Resident Evil movie is in development from Johannes Roberts, the director of 47 Meters Down and its sequel, and The Strangers Prey at Night. Very reasonable kind of array of movies there. Nothing stand out terrible, nothing stand out incredible. An okay resume. The last installment of the zombie killing franchise, the definitively titled Resident Evil The Final Chapter, was released in January of 2017, which everyone thought, nah, it's not going to be the final chapter, what are you talking about? But it seems like it might have been, amazingly. Despite video game adaptations generally getting written off before they've even gotten anywhere, the Resident Evil saga managed to buck the trend, which it did. I don't understand how it made as much money as it did, but whatever. Although generally receiving mixed to negative reviews from critics and audiences, it definitely has like a core fan base, which is huge. But general audiences didn't really like them that much. Each installment was popular enough with audiences to turn around enough profit that more were then made. It wasn't until 15 years later and 6 movies later when franchise navigator Paul W.S. Anderson decided to call it a day in favour of writing and directing an adaptation of Monster Hunter, which is going to be interesting. Because that movie follows the same trend of we get sucked into their world and have to go from there sort of thing. Yeah, surprising, but never mind. The subject of the new Resident Evil movie came up when we asked Roberts directly about the director credit for the upcoming reboot at the top of his IMDb page, and what he could tell us about the current stage of production. So in addition to stating it would be a film rather than a series, he stated, because there were some rumours that it was going to be a series, which I think is still happening, mind you, because it's by different people as far as I'm aware. But his response was quite telling. He said, "We are in active development of that at the moment. I pitched them a take, and they really loved it. So, we're just gearing up on that as we speak, really. I'm in the office all of the time. So, yeah, it's great. It's going to be super scary. It's super, super scary. And it's just getting back to the roots of the game. I think, at the moment, I'm not really allowed to say much more than that, but it's going to be a lot of fun." So, in my eyes, it sounds like a complete reboot, not a remake. It's just a readaptation of the games, but probably following them a little bit more, a little bit closer. Now, obviously, Screen Rants continues on and says, blah, 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 Resident Evil, Milla Jovovich, that'll always be the case, blah, 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 all this kind of nonsense. But I think this is a good move. There were some snippets of James Wan rumoured to be involved in a project. He's since debunked all of that. So, Johannes Roberts? Yeah, could be really good. Could be really, really good. The fact that Roberts' description of getting back to the roots of the game would suggest that instead of being another hyperkinetic action movie, it will take inspiration from the initial game installment, where everything was designed to scare you and make you feel tense. Such was the emotional shredding inflicted upon young 90s players by the game. Many of them refused to play it alone or at night. If Roberts can recreate and invoke that kind of primal fear in his Resident Evil, it will become a true horror, and one that may even surpass the Overblown franchise in acclaim and popularity. Look, my take on this is absolutely very similar, I guess. Again, I give Screen Rant a lot of flack, but the fact that they've got this as a scoop is great. Top marks. Realistically, you have to recapture everything from the initial game. If you're going to be making an adaptation of such a cult classic, and it really was, Resident Evil is one of those games that was just terrifying. It was a terrifying, terrifying game. It managed to do things with the console that just wasn't really being done before. And just to pump out sequel after sequel of bombastic action thrillers and all of this nonsense, where they're just trying to get bigger and scarier and up the ante each and every single time, is really a disservice to such a great IP as Resident Evil. Now, in my head, what they really should do to save this is just go square basics. It doesn't even have to be a lot of zombies. This is a property that can actually get by with very, very little in the way of budget. Zombie makeup is a dime a dozen. It's not that difficult to do anymore. And you don't need many of them. You don't need many zombies. They could do this on such a shoestring budget that they would make so much profit if done right. If done right. You know, you don't need many zombies around. It needs to be just peppered through. And it's the feeling of the potential of them turning around a corner and then being there. That's what's really scary. It's always the fear of the unknown. Over-explained things are always just boring and crap. Too many zombies just gives you... where's the fear there? Where's the fear? Because you know exactly where they are at all times. It's always good just to have a few. A few zombos. Zambinis. So... there is a lot of potential here. I think Johannes Roberts has a relatively good resume for this. Now, are there better people out there? Inevitably, of course there are. But Johannes Roberts could do a great job. And the fact that he's pitched it to them, so they've obviously liked what he's pitched. But then these are still the same people that liked what Paul W.S. Anderson pitched. So that's not really telling. That doesn't really give any indication of positivity by any stretch of the imagination. But we shall see. We shall see. And as well, not only that, we're getting a resurgence in Resident Evil. We had the Resident Evil 2 remake, which did incredibly well. I played it here on the channel for a little bit. That was a fantastic game. And there's even talk of Resident Evil 3 being remade as well. There's, well, I think it is, as far as I'm aware from my video game news knowledge. So we are getting a resurgence of this, and because we're getting a resurgence of the games, logic would dictate that the movies, the people who own the rights to the movie adaptation, will be looking to follow the games just that little bit more. We can only hope. We can only hope. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think about this? And what's your fan casting? Your just story. How would you do this? How would you approach it? Would you want something similar to the Resident Evil movies that have already come out? And would you want something like I've said, where they just pepper in the odd Zambo around here and there? So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. There's a few big news pieces dropping today. There'll be one before this, then this one, and then there looks to be another 2 or 3 dropping as well. I know a lot of people aren't being notified of my videos, so if that is the case and you are one of those people, then please do just check back to the channel moving forwards, because YouTube sucks. It is what it is. But off the back end of that, I will say, guys, if you are enjoying the content, then please do always hit that like button and please do share it, because it helps so much, a lot more than you know. If you want to take your support just that little bit further, there is Patreon linked down below in the description box. You can have access to actually playthroughs. Soma is dropping today. I've been playing that on the channel. That is an interesting game. So that gets released today, along with Skype Hangouts as well, which is pretty cool. We do that twice a month. So check out my Patreon, linked down below in the description box. But anyway, guys, there's also an Amazon affiliate link and Teespring. A lot of people have been asking me about merch. It's underneath all of these videos. So anyway, that is enough rambling for me. Guys, stick around. Lots to come. If you are new here, hit subscribe. But thank you so much for watching. I have been Mr. H. Take care.